Hello, my dear viewers. This is Suchitra, your friend, facilitator, and guide from English Medium. In this video, we will have the textual explanation of the first chapter of your main textbook, Hornbill. The title of the lesson is A Letter to God, and it is written by G.L. Fuentes. The students or the viewers who have not watched the introductory video of this lesson, I would request them to watch it first, whose link has been shared in the description box. It will give you an idea of the moral, message, background, and the summary of this chapter. And yes, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to English Medium and press the bell icon to get the notifications of my latest videos. And now let us begin the textual explanation of this chapter. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height, one could see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour, or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. So in the beginning, the author describes about a house. The house which was the only one in the entire valley, and it was situated on the crest. Crest means top of a low hill. Low hill means a hill whose height is not too much. Like you can see here, on the top of the hill, the only single house situated. And from this location, one could see the river flowing beneath the hill. One could see the corn fields, the ripe corn. Ripe corn means the fully grown or matured corn. The fields which were filled with flowers, which also indicated that the farmer would have a good harvest. The only thing that was needed at that time was a good downpour. Downpour means rainfall, or at least a shower, to make those corns fully ready to cut and sell. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who is the protagonist or the main character of the story, who knew his field very closely and very lovingly, kept gazing towards the sky at the northeast side. Why he kept doing that? Because he could see some clouds gathering over there and he was expecting a rainfall. So he kept gazing towards the sky since morning. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. The woman who was preparing supper replied, "Yes, God willing." The older boys were working in the field while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, "Come for dinner." It was during the meal that, just as Lencho had predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. So seeing the clouds, Lencho remarked that they were going to get some good water. Here water means rainfall, and he remarked this to the woman. Now who is this woman here? It is she is Lencho's wife. So at that time his wife was preparing supper. Supper means dinner. And she replied, "Yes, God willing." Means yes, of course they would have, if only God wishes to. Means everything depends on God's wish or will. And then she called out her children, the older ones who were working in the field and the younger ones who were playing outside the house. She called all of them for the dinner, and it was during the meal that they noticed that big drops of rain began to fall, as Lencho had already expected. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body, and when he returned he exclaimed, "These aren't raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces and the little ones are fives. So here they could see big thick clouds towards the northeast side. They were as big as mountains approaching slowly towards their valley, and they could feel a freshness and sweetness in the air, which again remarks the approach or the arrival of rain. The man here refers to Lencho. He went out of the house to feel the first rainfall on his body, means he wanted to enjoy by getting drenched in the first rain. So he went out, and when he came back, or when he came inside, he remarked that those raindrops were not just the drops of water, but they were new coins. Now here, why does Lancho compare the raindrops with coins? Because those raindrops will result to a good harvest, which ultimately will bring money to the family, and that is why he compares the raindrops with new coins, as they would finally help Lencho earn money for his family. And further he says that the big drops of rain were like 10 cents and the small ones were like 5 cents. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers draped in a curtain of rain. But suddenly, a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. The boys, exposing themselves to the rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. So Lancho, who was quite satisfied by then with the rain, he started imagining his field covered with a curtain of rain. Means he could imagine his field getting enough water and his corns turning out to be fully grown and fully ripe to cut down. But that dream or imagination was soon broken when the raindrops suddenly changed into large hailstones, and very wild and very strong wind began to blow. Here you can see the picture of hailstones. Hailstones means when the raindrops freeze and fall on the earth in the form of ice balls or big ice cubes. So they are not considered good for crops, and that is why all of a sudden Lancho's expression had changed, and these hailstorms actually resembled like new silver coins, as Lancho was comparing earlier with the raindrops. The boys, who were also enjoying the rain, suddenly got busy in collecting those frozen pearls. Here frozen pearls means those hailstones which were falling from the sky. "It's really getting bad now," exclaimed the man. "I hope it passes quickly." It did not pass quickly. For an hour the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. The field was white as if covered with salt. So as I have said that hailstorm is not considered a good sign for the crop. So that is why Lancho was expecting that it would pass quickly, means it would stop quickly, but it didn't. It continued for almost an hour. It fell upon the garden, the house, the hillside, the cornfield of Lancho, and on the entire valley. And when it had stopped, it seemed as if someone had spread salt over everything. Means everything, the whole land turned white due to the big hailstones that fell from the sky. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lancho's soul was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, He stood in the middle of the field and said to his sons, "A plague of locusts would have left more than this. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn." So when the hailstorm stopped, Lencho found that neither a leaf nor a flower remained on the plants and trees. At the same time, his entire corns were destroyed, means his entire crop had destroyed due to the hailstorm. Lencho was obviously filled with sadness, and he remarked to his son that a plague of locusts means an attack of locusts. Locustus is a kind of insect which destroys the field. So Lencho remarks here that an attack of a group of locusts would have made less destruction than what this hailstorm had done. He says that the hail had left nothing for them, and that year they would have no corn. That night was a sorrowful one. All our work for nothing. There is no one who can help us. We will all go hungry this year. But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope: help from God. So obviously the whole night was a sorrowful one for the entire family, and they remark that all our work for nothing, means all their hard work went in vain. It proved to be worthless, and there was no one who would help them in that distressed situation. Lencho also remarked that all of them would go hungry that year as their entire crops were destroyed. But somewhere in the deep core of the heart of all those who lived in that lonely house or single house in the middle of the valley, there was still one hope that survived. That was the help from God. Don't be so upset. Even though this seems like a total loss, remember, no one dies of hunger. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lencho thought only of his one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. So, Lencho recalls a sentence which is spoken by which he might have heard from people, that whatever the situation may be, whatever how big is the loss, remember that no one dies of hunger. That's what he might have heard people saying, and throughout the night he and everyone in the family kept thinking about their one last hope, that was the help from God, whose eyes can see what is there in our deep conscience. Deep conscience means within us, within our heart, within our mind. So he thinks that God, who can read or who can understand the heart and mind of a person, would be definitely watching the calamity or the loss of Lencho, and would definitely come forward to help him, to bring him out of this situation. So he kept thinking about this, and his faith upon God became more strong and firm. Lencho was an ox of a man, working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday, at daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. So here the author says that though Lencho was as strong and hardworking as an ox, but he was not illiterate. He knew to write as well. So the next Sunday, early in the morning, he began to write a letter which he decided that he himself would carry to the town and post it. It was actually a letter written to God. God, he wrote, If you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes because the hailstorm. So it was a very short letter. He precisely wrote that he addressed to God first of all, and then wrote that if God won't help him and his family, they all would go hungry, and that is why he needed 100 pesos. Pesos is a silver coin which was used earlier in Spain. So he didn't ask for much, but only for 100 pesos, which by which he would sow a new corn in his field, and it would help to survive his family till the new crop comes. And then he further writes that because the hailstorm, and up to here he writes and finishes his letter and addresses it to God. Then he wrote to God on the envelope, put the letter inside, and still troubled, went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. So addressing it to God, he kept it inside an envelope and still troubled. Why troubled? Because he was engrossed with a lot many questions in his mind, like whether the letter would reach to God or not, he would get the help from him or not, his family would be able to get food for the whole year or not, and so many other questions. But keeping all his these questions and insecurities aside, he went to town to the post office, placed a stamp on the letter, and then dropped it in the letter box. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. So one of the employees of the post office, who was a postman also, he got that letter or the envelope of Lencho, and first of all he laughed heartily by seeing that it was addressed to God, because in his entire career he had never seen such a letter which was addressed to God, and he himself didn't know the address where to post or where to take that letter to. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing, but almost immediately he turned serious and, tapping the letter on his desk, commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter, starting up a correspondence with God." So the postman took that letter to the postmaster, and the postmaster, who was a fat and amiable means friendly, light-hearted, so a fat and friendly person, he also first of all break into a laughter, but then immediately he turned out quite serious, and he tapped the letter on the desk and said, what a faith that man has. And he wished he had that faith on God, who took the initiative to start a correspondence, means negotiation through letter, with God. So the postmaster was not just surprised or shocked, but he was very pleased by seeing this strong and undaunted faith of this man on God, and he was quite impressed with that. So, in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea: answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. So, as he was impressed by Lancho's faith in God, he did not want his faith to break or to shake, and that is why he came up with the solution that he would answer to that letter. But when he opened and read it, it was quite clear that to answer that letter they not only needed a goodwill, ink and paper, but it really needed something more than that. But as he was firm to his resolution or the decision that he had taken, he decided that he would collect money with the help of his employees. At the same time, he also gave a part of his salary, and some of the good and kind-hearted friends came forward, and they were happy to be a part of this noble cause, this charity. So they all lent their hands to collect the money. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos, so he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lancho, and with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature, God. So being just a postmaster, it was quite impossible task for him to collect 100 pesos. It was a good amount for him, but still they all were able to collect more than half of what this farmer needed. He then put the money inside an envelope and addressed it to Lancho, and he just wrote God at the end as the signature. Didn't write anything else in the letter, and then put it all inside an envelope. The following Sunday, Lancho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a man who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. So the next Sunday, Lancho again visited the post office, but this time he came quite earlier than the usual time and asked if there was any letter for him. The same postman handed over that envelope to him, and the kind-hearted postmaster, who was quite contented, means satisfied with the kind of good deed that he had done, he was watching all this from his office. Lancho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence. But he became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake, nor could he have denied Lancho what he had requested. So when Lancho found the money in the envelope, he did not show any surprise, as if he was quite expecting this money being sent by God. So such was his confidence or trust upon God. But soon he became quite angry when he counted the money and found that they were less than what he had expected. He said to himself that God could neither make such a mistake, nor he could send him less than what he had asked for. Immediately, Lancho went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write, with much wrinkling on his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked and then affixed it to the envelope with a blow of his fist. So, Lancho quickly went to the post office window and asked for a paper and ink, and there itself, standing at the writing table, he started writing another letter to God by wrinkles in his eyebrow, because he was making efforts to express his ideas this time, because they were full of anger. And then when he finished, he again went to the window and bought a stamp, licked it, and then affixed it on the envelope with a fist, with a blow of fist, which again shows his expression of anger. So all these expressions, the frowning of his eyebrow and his affixing the stamp on the envelope with a fist or a blow of fist, shows his anger at receiving the less amount from God. The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. It said, God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest, since I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail, because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. So, as soon as that letter was dropped in the mailbox, the letter box, the postmaster, who was quite happy and satisfied, went to open it. Actually, he was expecting that Lancho must have written a letter to God to thank him for his help. But on the contrary, when he opened the letter, it was written that the money that he had asked for, only 70 pesos had reached to him, and he requested God to send him the rest because he needed it badly. And he also wrote that not to send the money this time through mail, through post, because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Crooks means dishonest people. So what does it mean? It means that Lancho thought that God had actually sent him 100 pesos, and it were the post office employees who had taken out 30 pesos from them for themselves. So he doubted on the honesty of those genuine, kind-hearted and sympathetic people who actually came forward to help him in this distressful situation. So again, at the end of the story, the author draws Lancho's a very strong faith upon God, that he was not in a state to disbelief on God at all. So children, this is how the story ends here. And yes, of course, if you like the presentation, if you like the explanation, please share it with your friends and co-mates, and do subscribe to my channel English Medium. Till the next video, see you and take care.